Hello again, I'm Maha, and we are with you live from the LinkedIn Hub at Advertising Week. With us is Richard Guest. He is the president of Tribal Worldwide. Digital creative agency. Digital.
All digital all the time.
All digital all the time.
Why would you want to be anything else?
Okay, I have nothing else to say after that. You're absolutely right. I mean, nowadays it makes no sense to be anything else, right?
Yeah, who wants to say I don't do digital?
No, I don't think anybody wants to say that. But I think maybe some people are still afraid, like, I still got to do TV and digital. Clearly you're like, oh, forget TV.
I'm not.
Be honest.
I'm not forget video content,
Okay.
right? So I think TV is a distribution platform that some people still use, some people don't. But as advertisers and marketers, what we care about is the video ads that go on that. Video, sight, sound, motion, powerful tool that we can still use through digital channels. TV as a platform, less interesting to me.
I guess you don't watch a lot of TV, huh?
I do on my Apple TV and my Roku, and occasionally on Time Warner On Demand, but not live, sit in front of my TV.
I guess you're right, because I think of myself as someone who watches TV, but I don't ever go watch TV right then and there.
No,
who does that?
And I had the coolest experience, at least for me, 2 weeks ago. I was Sunday afternoon. I was leaving the airport to go to Paris. I love the Detroit Lions. The game was on, but I was going to miss it because I was going to be sitting in a cab. And I was able to download the DirecTV Sunday Ticket app to my AT&T mobile phone, and I'd seen all these commercials about how mobility was the future of television, and I thought there's no way this is going to work. I streamed the live football game the whole way to JFK Airport. Sitting in the back of a cab.
Awesome.
Best day of my life for football.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about one of the things you and I were talking about, which is that the world is morphing into content and
Yes.
social. So give me your philosophy.
The thing we see with the evolution of all these new platforms, social platforms, web platforms, what have you, is marketers need more and more content. They need more content that they can afford to produce. So as agencies, we have to figure out very cost-efficient ways to make this content for them.
And to still make it good.
And still make it good, and still make it relevant to people. And what we've seen a lot of clients ask us about is the phenomenon of real-time marketing. They saw Oreo and the great Super Bowl tweet, and they're like, we want that. We want to be real-time marketers. So we spend a lot of time telling them that's exactly the thing you don't want to be. Because more often than not, people who chase real-time fail. And we're looking for our clients to be always on in their approach to content and always on in their approach to social listening, but making content that's right for their brand. So we talk about right time marketing.
Ooh, the new catchphrase, the catchphrase
my
for the
own
afternoon.
new buzzword.
All right,
yeah.
your own new
Hopefully
buzzword.
I can start that as jargon.
All right, no, I like it.
Yeah.
So how do we achieve right time
Well,
marketing?
I think it's about understanding what is right and true to your brand, which a lot of marketers and a lot of agencies are good at, but also understanding what your audience and what your brand fans expect to hear from you about. Not every brand has the right to talk about every topic. There is a classic example of SpaghettiOs tweeting about Pearl Harbor Day, which is just cringeworthy. I see you doing it, and thank God it wasn't Tribal that did that.
Whoa.
It got them on the John Oliver show, so in the spirit of
I
no
guess,
PR
yeah,
is
no
bad PR.
Exactly.
But for us, we think that's wrong. We think it's important for brands to understand not only what people want to hear from you about, but when they want to hear from you. So our office in Amsterdam does a lot of work for Heineken around content in support of their UEFA Championship partnership, which is American soccer, European football.
Which is exactly, and soccer and beer, you're good.
You're good.
But it's not that simple.
It's not that simple. What we found was, in the spirit of real time, we should be tweeting during the matches, all about things that are relevant to Heineken. Didn't really do much for the business. We found when you time shift that a few days in front of the match, you still have a chance to get guys to buy beer for their party at home to watch the game, or you leave that imprint of Heineken in their head, so when they show up at the bar, they buy Heineken instead of whatever they would have bought as the game was starting, before Heineken started to tweet in a real-time model.
You know, that seems, I mean, it all makes total sense to me, but I'm not sure, I mean, it sounds a lot easier said than done. I mean, it means you're constantly on, you're constantly thinking about this stuff, you're constantly, you know, balancing that and having that internal dialogue of like, okay, now's the right time, no, now's not the right time, wait, does this make sense, doesn't it?
There's more upfront work. So,
Yes.
you know, I think what traditional ad agencies have always been good about, and what DDB, who's our parent company, has always been good about, is building work or creative communication from an insight into human nature. And when social first emerged and real-time marketing first took off, people kind of threw that out and they said, we're just going to go with the flow, see what pop culture is talking about, and interject ourselves into it. What we're helping clients do is that hard strategic work up front to understand the insights of the brand, and we'll literally build you know, a social topic map for a brand that is always true. So Heineken has their 6 things that they know they should always be talking about, and they're looking for those things to occur instead of trying to interject themselves in a conversation they don't belong in.
So although it looks very, very organic and natural, it's actually very
There's a lot of upfront planning.
strategized. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's organic in that you don't know where pop culture is going to go.
Yeah.
It's strategic in that you understand your brand and you understand what your brand's buyers and your brand's fans in social expect to hear from you about. And you know, that is hard work to do up front, and it is a little more timely or time consuming, but it makes your conversation in real time seem more timely.
So since you guys are all about digital, and you, I mean, in your world, what else is there, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about a few of the trends that you've been seeing. What are some of the things that you've seen recently that you like and think are working really well for people, even if they're not, you know, tribal?
Yeah.
And other trends that you're seeing going forward?
Yeah, one of the things that we're very bullish on is dynamic creative. Particularly in the banner display space. So if we can pull a data footprint from a user's web history that, for instance, in the case of a pet care brand, if we know they search a lot for golden retrievers, making sure golden retrievers show up in that ad so they're more likely to notice it than the brand that would typically show a black lab. We know that's not relevant to the person, so if we can use those data signals to make advertising more relevant on the fly, we want to do that, and particularly in the context of programmatic buying, we think dynamic creative makes a lot of sense.
Do you think that programmatic buying is really where it's at? I mean, I've sat down with a few, you know, hardcore programmatic people, you know, and they will tell you that we've got this. We are so on this. From the other side of it, do you think that we are really there with it, with all the little nuances and all the little details, and at scale, obviously?
Yeah. Well, scale, I think, is the critical point. I think every media plan we see come through the agency has some element of programmatic in it now. So there's no doubt it's an important part of the media and communication ecosystem. I think scale, though, it implies reaching a mass audience. And I think one of the things that we can confuse programmatic for is a shift to one-to-one marketing. And most of our really big clients need to talk to a lot of people and a lot of light buyers in order to grow sales. So if we're working with a big pet food brand, they are not going to grow by talking to one person at a time or by talking to people that are already heavy buyers of their products. They need to talk to people that occasionally buy them or don't buy them at all.
And hopefully convert them into heavy
buyers. But using programmatic as a tool to build a mass audience, or as part of mass plans where we can target more specifically light buyers or buyers of our competitors, is a great tool to use.
So where do you think we're going next with digital? A few trends that you are seeing.
I think we'll continue to see everything shift to a digital-based delivery system. What I'm really keen on following is, as digital platforms enable more over-the-top television consumption by users, what does that mean for the advertising model? So I already said I don't watch TV in real time, which is probably bad for my own business, but I watch a ton of Netflix too, right?
Yeah.
No ads in Netflix. If the model continues to move to Netflix-like solutions or HBO Now-like solutions, how do advertisers reach consumers? That's going to be a mix of probably content but also inventing new platforms with companies like Netflix that can be ad supported.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, I've seen some people come up with some pretty creative stuff that we would not have thought of, and so you never know where the next frontier is to solve that solution and solve that, issue or that problem, and several challenges, several other challenges that are going to come up.
Absolutely.
All right, Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of Advertising Week.
You too.
Thank you.